All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is the internet and this is the Ed Namrock podcast. One of the things I wanted to talk about, such a big weekend, and excuse my voice because I went to go see Metallica this weekend. And it was not only, I don't know, these guys seem to top every single concert that I go watch them play. And man, I'll get right into it. What it is that they played, their set list was just completely like it was tremendous. But before I get into that, I also wanted to touch on UFC 214 this weekend because there was just a lot going on this weekend, and I wanted to cover as much as possible. But yes, I got to see Metallica at the Rose Bowl. The date again, July 29th, Saturday, 2017. I did not get there on time to get to see Gojira's set, unfortunately. The parking was a little bit rambunctious, but you eventually got in. You wanted to do your pregame or whatever. But it was quite the march to the gates at the Rose Bowl because if you didn't have a VIP parking pass, or if you didn't have the $60 Premier parking that you would, so solemnly pay for, we paid in the $40, just regular parking, and we were deep into like the seventh lot or something like that. So it took us about maybe a good 15 minutes to get to the gate. And then, of course, it's a security check, and then you get in, and then I wasn't expecting a bunch of tents, selling, food, alcohol and stuff like that. So, of course, we got a couple of drinks before we went and found our seats. It wasn't that hard. I mean, it's the Rose Bowl. It's not even that difficult. It's actually just as easy as the Coliseum. So, but I don't know exactly how long they played for. They played for maybe 2 hours, give or take. But of course, they always open up with the Ecstasy of Gold, which has been a staple for their intros for a long time. What I found interesting is that they opened up with Hardwire from their new album, Hardwire to Self Destruct, and the intro was very interesting. They actually played the backing track of the actual album track up until midway when Lars hits the snare and they go into the really fast part of the song. But they timed it so flawlessly, so seamlessly that it was like, wow, these guys got it down. Second song was Atlas Rise, which is another new one from Hardwire to Self Destruct. That was awesome. I believe For Whom the Bell Tolls was third. People went pretty apeshit over that. I know I did. I say forgive my voice because I was just screaming my fucking head off. I failed to mention Avenged Sevenfold before I got into Metallica. I got that excited. Avenged also kicked ass. They played a lot of their great, great fucking epic songs of each one of their albums. They played The Stage. They played Nightmare. They played. They ended with Unholy Confessions. They played Beast. I think they played Beast in the Harlot. I don't remember. Actually, no, they didn't play Beast in the Harlot. They played Bat Country. But anyway, props to Avenged Sevenfold. They kicked ass, and I've been following that band for a long time, and I'm glad to see they got to play with their idols, man. That's awesome. Okay, Metallica. Next song, the fourth song they played was Fuel. That was, of course, filled with pyrotechnics and whatnot. Then The Unforgiven from the Black Album, which is badass. And then what was interesting is the sixth song. They played a new track, which is titled Now That We're Dead. They had like this extended, like, kind of drum jam out in between, and they had those big Japanese drums on stage. So they were all banging away. It was fucking amazing. And then after that, they went into Moth into Flame. and that shit was rocking. That's one of the songs. I was really looking forward to watching them play live from the new album. Only because I saw the big flop, and he made a statement before before he began. They began the track. He said, James said, and I quote, "Is this mic working?" And he was making reference to what happened at the Grammys with Metallica and Lady Gaga when his microphone was not working at all, which it was just stupid. It sucks. And he said he vowed to never work with another pop star again or collaborate like that. Then they went into Wherever I May Roam, classic fucking jam. Then they went into another new jam, Halo on Fire, which is fucking amazing. And then after that, which is interesting, is Kirk and Rob Trujillo jammed out on I Disappear, but just the two of them. It was like, if you were to solo only the Kirk's guitar and the bass guitar in the actual, in the mixing stage, and it sounded pretty badass. That's what they were doing the whole time. And it's like, wow. They play Motor Breath, which is very fucking badass. One of my all-time favorites from the Kill 'Em All record. Yeah, Lars still kind of pulls it off. I was kind of questionable about, his skill at this age, but he kept up pretty good. They played Sad But True. Again, awesome. When they began to play one, they went into their little pyrotechnic kind of, theatrics on stage, and it was fucking amazing. That was great. They went into the song, they ended classic Metallica. They went into Master of Puppets right after that, which is pretty badass. Then Fade to Black. And then I guess it was like at once Fade to Black ended, it was like the Through the Never movie clip with the Eye of the Beholder intro from the actual recording. And then they went into Seek and Destroy. That was fucking amazing. The transition was just flawless. Then they jammed out with Running with the Devil from Van Halen because it was kind of ode to Pasadena boys, as they would say. It was pretty badass. At that point, we really wanted to beat traffic. So while we were walking out, they went into Battery. And granted, we did not want to sit in traffic for that long to get out of the venue, so we timed it perfectly. By the time they began playing Nothing Else Matters, we were already towards the car. We could still hear it was that loud, but they closed with Inner Sandman, which is badass. But other than that, that would be my 20. I lied last time. I said I seen them 32 times, which I lost track. I've seen them approximately 22 times since the age of 7. I've seen them on the Master of Puppets tour with Ozzy Osbourne, with one of my friends a long time ago, and that was one of my very first concerts, and I'm like, wow, I was hooked since then. Epic weekend. Another thing I wanted to touch base on was UFC 214. I don't know if anyone saw that, but man, all I gotta say is John Jones is back. He is back. The results were I'm not gonna say surprising, but for example, there was a prelim card. I really didn't show that much interest in it because the only real fight I really wanted to see was the women's strawweight match, which it was Alexandra Albu against Kylan Curran, the Hawaiian girl. But man, Kylan lost again. I think that's like her third or fourth fight that she's lost. Anyway, and then they had another preliminary card that I wanted to see. It was actually, I would think it was headlined by Ricardo Lamas against Jason Knight. And Ricardo Lamas won that one to TKO punches, which is pretty badass. And I think, I can't pronounce his name. Aljamain Sterling? Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. He fought Henan Barao and won by decision. And then T City Brian Ortega fought too, and he apparently he beat Renato Moicano, so he submitted him via guillotine choke. So there was another fight, but I really didn't pay attention to that. But the main card was the one that I really, really wanted to see. One of the light heavyweight bouts on that main card was Volkan Ozdemir against Jimmy Manuwa, and Volkan beat him KO punches in the first round. It was within, I think it was like 40 seconds in. It was quick. Then followed by the welterweight bout with Robbie Lawler against Cowboy Cerrone, and I heard that one was very tight. The scoring was 29-28, 29-28, 29-28. It was unanimous in favor of Lawler, but I heard Cerrone got robbed. But I didn't get to see the entire fight in detail, but I mean, from what I saw, this fight was a banger. They were just beating the fuck out. They were beating the lights out of each other. It was so fucking badass. The one that I was looking forward to was the women's featherweight bout with Cyborg and Tony Evinger. And I got to actually see this fight on a replay, and it was it ended in round 3 out of 5. Cyborg was just, she was tagging Tanya pretty good, and then it resulted in this really wicked knee to the temple. Tanya was done, and that means that Cyborg is crowned the undisputed women's featherweight champion, which means she needs to fight Germaine Duranami for the undisputed title, which is fucking badass. And then followed by the welterweight bout between Tyron Woodley, who's the champ, against Damian Maia, who's the most badass fucking black belt, I think 3rd degree black belt jiu-jitsu fucking master, man. I heard a lot of mixed reviews about this fight. It wasn't that great. A lot of people were booing Tyron Woodley. I think just a lot of people hate on the guy, period. But a lot of bad reviews on this fight, and I didn't see all of it, but for the most part, I saw. So, I mean, it went all 5 rounds. It went into a decision, and Tyron kept his belt. But I heard that it was just not all that it was cracked up to be. So a lot of people were just kind of downplaying the whole fight, downplaying Tyron Woodley. Didn't really hear that much Damian Maia smack talk, but I'm sure if you just downplay the entire fight, then you weren't, and this is just the crowd. I don't know, man. But then going into the light heavyweight main event, it was between John Jones and Daniel Cormier, and damn, this one was worth the 3 rounds that it lasted. I've been wanting to see these guys fight for a long time, and it's been 2 matches, 2 years coming. And yeah, it was worth it, man. It was definitely worth it. Round 1, I'm almost confident to say that DC won that round. Round 2 could have gone either way, but DC was connecting pretty damn good. And then round 3, before it could go any further, John Jones landed this wicked head kick on DC's fucking dome. That wobbled him. Got him. He threw a little flying knee, almost caught him with that, like clean, tripped him, and then by the time he was on the floor, he just went fucking ape shit on him. Elbows, strike. I think maybe, I don't know. There's this argument going around that supposedly John McCarthy let it go a little bit longer than he should have, but I don't think so. But John Jones, undisputed light heavyweight champ. Then he followed by fucking calling out Brock Lesnar, and he said, and I quote, he said, "Brock Lesnar, if you want to know what it feels like to get your ass beat by someone that's 40 pounds lighter than you, meet me in the octagon." And I was like, wow, that is fucking ridiculous. But that's a super fight that I'm waiting to see, so that's going to be pretty badass. But that's pretty much it that I wanted to recap. These guys made quite quite the money, the payout. John Jones made $500,000 with no win bonus. Cormier got $1 million just to show up. So did Tyron. Tyron got $500,000 with no win bonus. Damian Maya got $110,000. Cyborg got $200,000 with no win bonus. Evinger got $100,000. Lawler got $300K, and he got $100,000 win bonus. And then Cowboy got $155,000, which is interesting. I would like at least 1% of that. I don't care. Just give me some money. Anyway, I'll do another podcast this week, hopefully, just to keep everyone in the loop. This is the Ed Namrock Podcast. Signing out. Have a good night.